What is going on, everybody? My name is Jason Odine. Today I want to talk about the beloved Canon T7i EOS Rebel camera that stole my heart from the get-go as a terrified, non-experienced photographer and videographer that somehow found my way into the videographer world. But first, let me make sure I'm in focus and just go ahead and switch on the autofocus here. Manual focus always gotta mess it up, man. Get your filthy paws off me. Wow, that switch is hard to move. Let's talk about what I like the most about the Rebel T7i camera, the weight. So I have small hands. I'm not a huge dude. I'm 5'4". We can just say 5'5" with shoes on. But this camera fits perfectly in my hand. Don't have any B-roll to show you of it in my hand, besides like, you know, these. But it's very light. It weighs less than my Sigma 18-35 lens does, which is saying something, because that lens is about 3 pounds. It doesn't weigh a lot, and that can be good if you are not the person with the biggest hands. This camera might fit well in your hands. I hope it does. Hope it fits like a glove. Safe sex is great sex. Canon does pretty well on most of the cameras that they make. Anyhow, when I got this camera, brand new, terrified, green as you can be, I did not know much about the difference between f-stop and what aperture meant and what AV meant and what TV meant. It took me a little bit to figure out, but there is something on this camera which I think is pretty cool if you are a beginner or new. They actually have a way that you can set up a guide, so the menu will kind of tell you through pictures and these cute little cartoons that show you what each button does, and it makes you feel like you're right at home in preschool where we should be. It does help, and I'm glad that I got to use that for a little bit of time before I kind of got sick of it and said, I'm too good now, you know, I'm graduating onto first grade. Next, let's talk about the picture quality. So for this one, I want to show you some examples of the type of shots that you can expect to get with this camera, but hold up. It's not just about the picture quality of the camera, which isn't bad. This is definitely a 24 or 26 megapixel sensor, which isn't the biggest and best. It doesn't do excellent things in low light unless you have a great lens and some decent lighting. But I can tell you that the 1080p quality it's fine. To be honest, it gets by for professional work as well. I've made money using this camera, so if you are at entry level and eventually one day you say, hey Jason, what if I want to make money with this camera? Like, is someone going to turn me away because I don't have a 90D or a 1D or an EOS R? No one's going to turn you away, because this is gold in terms of 1080, and if you have a good lens on it and good lighting, which is just the sacrifice that you're going to have to make instead of buying like a Sony a7S III or like a Sony a7 III, which, by the way, those run like 300 to 1,000 or 2,000 more than this camera does. And not that I'm promoting Sony, my channel, because I'm using a Canon camera, which I love. Just like throughout all the Canons, the colors are going to be spot on. As long as you have a decent lens on the camera, which, like I said, probably like 5 times now, I'm using a Sigma 18-35 f1.8, which is like $700, which is about the price of the camera, if I'm being honest. You could definitely save some money there and just get a 50 1.8 or like a 24 1.8, or I'm not sure if it goes lower than that in primes. Which brings me to my first con on the list. I know, I had to stop the goodness at some point and let y'all know what's really going on. So number one, this camera is like $800 brand new, but it's fairly recent, like 2 years old, and it's still $800 for something that the next con only shoots 1080. You can't shoot 4K.
Oi, bruv, did he just say that it can't shoot 4K? Bruv, are you joking me? Bruv, are you joking me? This camera doesn't shoot 4K?
Now, if you're new, do you need 4K? I don't know. People say it's more professional, and I'm sure it is. 4K is awesome. It's going to look sharper if you shoot in 4K and export it as 1080. A lot of our screens don't even have 4K, so don't stress yourself because we're basic. We're all basic without choice. 4K isn't a huge deal. You can shoot 1080 in these frame rates, 24 frames a second, 30 frames, which is like in the middle, or you can do 60 frames. You don't get to do 120 frames a second, which is ultra slow motion. That wasn't sped up or slowed down. That was just me trying to be cool. But the final verdict on the T7i, you know what? I would say go for it. If you feel like going Canon and want entry-level DSLR, this is going to be the way to go. It's better than the SL2 and it's better than the T7 without the I. Just a number. Number 7. The Canon M50 is coming out, or I'm pretty sure it might already be out. It's like a Mark II, Mark I, and that camera is $479. It's mirrorless and it can do everything that this camera can do, and it can do a little bit more because it shoots in 4K. I know. I was furious when I heard that too. Canon, I love you all, but come on, man. You're gonna skimp on the T7i and do it like, come on, man. That's my final verdict on the Canon T7i camera. Yes, you can use it to make professional looking images and videos. Are they gonna be as great as some other cameras? Pretty close. The 50mm lens, 1.8 or 1.4 is where I'd recommend you start out. Since this is a crop sensor camera, you got to multiply that number times 1.6 every time you get a lens, and that will tell you exactly how cropped in it is. So a 50mm Canon lens on this Canon T7i, for example, is going to be roughly 80mm in focal length. It took me so long to figure out. I felt dumb. Now I feel smart. Basically means you just get extra zoom whenever you shoot. So like, ball out there. Thank you for watching. Like I said, subscribe or don't. We don't want you here. This is a private channel. Leave. But like, do subscribe, but don't. And I will see y'all next time, or I won't, in the next video. See y'all next time. Thank you for watching. Jason and I'm out.